Okay, take two. Welcome to Red's Indie Comic Corner. I am joined by Brandon Ingram, creator of the Gallows Man, here to promote the second issue of Gallows Man. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you for
Welcome to the
having me again.
show. Let
Thank
me
you.
let me do this real quick because I'm running the whole board myself here.
Yeah.
So we're
No problem.
gonna have a little bit of a delay if I
That's no
can
problem.
just 1 sec. I can't find it. Oh, well, all good. So, tell us about what you've been doing lately in getting this issue number 2 off the ground.
So yeah, like whenever we were doing that first Kickstarter back in May of 2021, even amidst us doing the Kickstarter for issue 1, we were still working on issue 2. We were like at least of a quarter of the way through issue 2 when that Kickstarter was running. So we've been working on it for a while. And we I thought we would have it out by January. It's ultimately my fault that it wasn't out by this January or February. Work things just kind of conflicted with scheduling to where we decided to have the second issue Kickstarter be basically May 3rd, like 2 or 3 months out from what I originally thought it would be. But it's been going good. It's been going good working on this and future issues and stuff. It's been really good.
Now, what's the current reception with issue number 1 as far as coming from you?
Yeah, I was honestly like blown away. It was like really surreal just seeing like people's thoughts and impacts of issue 1. Like there were a few review sites that reviewed it. Ultimately, for the most part, positive feedback. There was some constructive criticism with 1 or 2 of those sites, which I welcomed, because with at least one of them, I was reading it, was like, oh my gosh, that person's so right about that, or they're so right about that. So it helps me as a writer get that feedback and stuff. But from like everyone that ordered and stuff from the Kickstarter before they pledged, everyone seemed to love it. To the point where I have to check my ego. I have to check my ego at the door, like when people are giving me this positive feedback and stuff, because I don't want to be that person. But there was one DM that someone sent me a month or 2 ago through Instagram, and they basically said, "Hey man, I can't wait for this issue 2 Kickstarter. I just read issue 1 for the 5th time today and loved it." And it just like blew my mind hearing that. I was like, 5 times you read issue 1? Like that's the amount of times I have to read it when I'm editing, because there's so much stuff I have to edit and stuff, to where at that 5th time, my mind is just crazy, because I'm like, I have to keep seeing this over and over again. I commend that guy for 5 times. Thank you for liking it that much. But again, it was one of those things where after I read that comment, I was like, okay, bring your ego down, bring it down. But yeah, I'm thankful for everyone who has at least given it a shot. Even if you didn't like it, I'm glad you gave it a shot.
Well, definitely, I think there was more panels than speech bubbles in the first issue, so definitely there was more storytelling within the pictures than the actual text itself.
Yeah.
But with the last issue, we were left with the Frogman's demise.
Yeah.
And so I was quite wondering, like, what do they do now, where their lead is gone to find Swastika, or was it Major Swastika?
Yeah, Major Swastika, yeah.
That like, what is Newsboy and Gallows Man up to do now? And after I received your issue number 2 to preview, and it's like, wow, okay, this is what's happening now. And I've noticed that you have this theme with the butler. Hold on, let me get his name.
Bertwald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is the deli always busy?
It's a happening place. Town City it's a big town, and apparently it's it's a buzzing deli that he's always going to. It's this deli that's really popping off in the 1940s, I guess.
Ah, and I guess do we get to see this deli sometime in the next couple issues?
I will spoil that. You might not see it in this mini series. You
All
might
right.
see more mentions of the deli, but there's potential after this 4-issue miniseries for possibly a sequel series, but at the very least, an anthology series that kind of follows like some stuff within Town City, like
Mm.
some characters you might not get a lot of perspective on, like Bertwald or Hangmutt or Newsboy or different stuff like that. Some of the villains from Far Side Alley, like different ideas going on, but that's a long way down the road.
And I know he has a big secret identity as the Gallows Man, but why doesn't he sleep with the mask on? He sleeps with his underwear, but yet he leaves the mask on. It's like,
Yeah.
Is his secret identity really Bart?
It's one of those things where I was talking to someone recently, and they kind of brought up a decent point of like it could be like a scenario like what you're saying, where Bart is more of the secret identity than the Gallows Man. I was like, huh, that's actually an interesting perspective.
Let me show you. Let me get the screenshot to share the oops, not that one. Share it to the audience so they can see it. Again, I'm only running the board, so it's gonna take a bit here.
Yeah, that's no problem at all.
Window, and here we go. All right, here we have Gallows Man and Hangmutt.
Yeah.
Hangmutt. And yeah, again, he wakes up in his underwear with the mask on, and then goes through this whole routine of having orange juice, bacon and eggs, and brushing his teeth and flossing it. I guess he just has this.
Even
this
down
every
in
day.
the he has that morning routine, which this routine you saw in issue 1, but this time it's some time has passed, and he's, to put it lightly, a little down in the dumps, just based on like leads and not having them and stuff. So yeah, it just shows that even when he's down in the dumps, he's still sleeping with that mask on.
Right, and he still gives the kids the apples, but apparently when he's depressed, he hasn't been able to shop and nor give the kids the apples whatever they're expecting at the bus stop. Where did I see this? Let me scroll ahead here. I'm gonna spoil it for everybody, but yeah. Trying to get to the action where here you have this marionette situation where he just hung this guy and the guards came around and like, well, he's got to do something in order not to be found out, or using the dead dude as a marionette in order to respond to their questions like, hey, what's going on here? I thought Otis, he was working today, yada yada yada. And I like the way this interaction here was happening. Like, where did you come up with this idea?
I've just always liked kind of. I like all kinds of humor, but I mean, in this instance, you can kind of see like kind of dumb, silly skit humor, kind of, and that's kind of like where that played into it, of just imagining this superhero who, like, he killed this guy, but some other guards are coming, almost like a various movies do this, maybe like Austin Powers or something else, where you have like other guards are coming, so you have to act like you're doing something. And so his way of acting like he's doing something, like he can't get out of the costume in time, so he's marionetting this corpse basically, which you can see right there, like he's like drooling from the mouth because he's dead. And like it might be on this page or a different page, but you can see like parts where he's like twisting his neck saying no or saying yes. and it has like cracking noises.
There it is,
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah. It's like cracking his neck because his neck's broken. Like, just it's so silly and stupid, but I love it. I love that stuff. Getting to write that stuff, because you don't always see stupid stuff like that.
No, that's perfect the way you had it done, and the illustrator is by
Helen Bolton.
Yeah,
She did a great job.
she did. Did you have a lot of input as far as like how this layout's supposed to go, or that was all her?
So I have it scripted out, but when it comes to how it should look like on the page, like, she is a master at it. We've never even met in person, but it's like she can just infiltrate my mind and like put it onto page, but it look way better than what I'm expecting, because she's a professional at this. Like, she knows what panel layout should look like. I do edits here and there. I'll say maybe change this or that, but like, she is one of the best artists I've worked with, in just like, bam, like, she's got it.
Some great creative work here, and I don't know if the first issue had revealed anything about, does this Gallows Man have any other special powers, or is he just a guy in a suit that's able to do all these things?
It's basically like a Batman scenario where it's a guy in a suit and he's got gadgets. He's got like noose gadgets and stuff like that, various things like that.
I think it was this issue, or I think it was this issue.
Don't go past this page.
Yeah. There was a snafu with his noose retractor. It was this one. Yeah,
it was this one. Yeah, because he hung the guy up. It was the guy he marionetted. Yeah, because he's like, oh shoot, the noose reel. You should be 20 feet up in the air by now. Yeah, so there's malfunctions with it.
Okay, so he's got flaws. Then also his gadgets also has flaws. That's great, because you would never think that Batman stuff would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
In this world, it does tend to happen. So
and it's 1940s technology, so there's going to be some hang-ups and stuff.
Okay, so we're talking nothing with big computer chips. It's just mechanical. And,
basically.
Yeah, that's. I would never have thought to put that in the comp, because everything that any vigilante with gadgets think that everything will go perfect for him, but for this guy it hasn't. So I guess I can't go past the other one. And are we gonna see any more of the I guess this guy here, the boss? Yeah,
Mr. Johnson. Not to say too much, but I will say you'll see him in issue 3 and issue 4. Okay.
So we'll get to find out if he knows about his secret identity of Gallows Man.
Yeah. There's a lot more interaction with Mr. Johnson as it continues.
All right, and then there's a little extra comic at the end. If I could show it, or maybe not.
Yeah. You can show that.
Let me, because I'm still confused on what was going on there, or with Newsboy dreaming here.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So I guess this is just a day in the life with Newsboy having a dream.
Yeah, it's basically, I think at the beginning part I had it say a previous evening. It doesn't specify. So yeah, a previous evening. Doesn't say it's like the day before or anything. Could be a week before, it could be months before. But this is basically a little hint or a little touch of like Newsboy's life a little bit. And with the dialogue, it kind of shows like his mom's like, wow, it's crazy that I'm just paraphrasing what it says, but she's like, it's crazy. You get home from school and you go to bed at 4:30 in the afternoon. That's crazy, which we as the reader know he's crime fighting at night.
Yeah, and she never questions him about the mask.
No, that's the thing. She's like, wow, you always dress as that famous Newsboy sidekick that's always with Gallows Man. If I didn't know any better, I would think you were Newsboy. And then he like over the top is like, I could never be as awesome or as cool or as as this or that as Newsboy? And then she's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And he's like, wait a second. Yeah, and then from there she says goodnight to him, and you have
Yeah.
this insane dream that this little boy is having. Where basically it's this guy, he's in the Newsboy's in like a grassy area. This guy litters, and throughout, like as the dream progresses, he has the guy hanged because Newsboy does not like littering.
Uh-huh.
He even says right there, it says the truest form of villainy is littering, you scum. And so it progresses to where you see in that third panel, he has the guy hanged. Everyone's cheering that this litterer was hanged. And then the dream progresses even further in that last panel to where they've essentially killed all the litterers in the world, because he says it's time that we hunt down all these litterers, basically. And so, and you see at that bottom page him sleeping, that he's even happier than he was at the beginning of his dream. So little touch into Newsboy's psyche right there, I guess.
Did you ever specify how old Newsboy is compared to Gallows Man?
So I've never said it in the comic, but I've always seen Newsboy as like not like a high schooler, but I've always seen as like he's likely between like 10 and 13, kind of like the old classic Robin age, kind of.
Yeah, I could never picture anyone at that age to become a vigilante fighter.
Exactly. And that's also part of like touching on that with Newsboy, with going back to Robin, because when Robin was first introduced, he's like extremely little kid. He's not like a teenager. He's like a preteen. So that's kind of hitting at that with Newsboy.
Like, would you write stories about him going through not just being a vigilante, but also going through puberty, because now he's growing up within this community?
That's actually, I've actually thought about that. Like, if I do a sequel series to this Gallows Man series, I thought about like not completely having the story focus on him, but focus more on Newsboy and stuff he's doing. If I didn't do that in a sequel series, I would have like little stories here and there in that anthology series I was talking about.
Very nice. And then you have this last comic at the end about I guess a big podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast me and my buddy Tio do called Store Brand Comics, and I like to, I guess right here just proves I put like too much effort into little things, because ultimately we just do a little podcast. Like we talk about, we pitch movies and different stuff like that, comic ideas on there, and sometimes we'll just shoot the breeze, like philosophical conversations about comics and stuff. But I wanted to have my own ad. Since it's my book, I can basically dictate the ads I want in the book. And so I was like, why not have an ad for the podcast we do? And I just like it. It's one of those things where I probably won't get another chance to have my own ads in there in the future if I ever work for anyone or anything. So I'm like, it's my book. I'll put the stuff I want. And Helen did the art for that 1-page ad as well.
Well, was she surprised when you asked her making this request for her? Like, can you make me an ad for the podcast? This is how I want it to be.
That's what's wild is like I hire Helen for these things, but I approach her first, like giving her the concept, seeing her thoughts on it, see if she's okay with doing it. But she's like gung ho for it. Like she doesn't say it to me, but I'm sure there's got to be something deep down or thinking like, wow, this is really stupid, but I'm going to do the art. But
it's like, as long as you're paying me to do the stuff for you,
I guess that's what it is. Yeah. But she's such a trooper when it comes to my stupid ideas that I throw at her.
No, well, when you're creative like this and you need an outlet along with your comic book, having a podcast is a great idea.
Yeah.
Then you get to really brainstorm with people that are also interested in the same thing you're doing.
It ultimately is that, because me and him, we started the podcast just because like none of our friends, like some of our friends read comics, but it's really like they read like a few of the big comics. Like they read Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, Mouse, and that's about it. Like they don't have any other like comic knowledge. So it was kind of like, well, we both love comics and know about a bunch about comics, and we both like writing. So like, let's just, it's basically, I am happy when people listen to our show, but it's basically just a way for me and him to just chat and let all the geekery out, basically.
And you also have guests on this particular podcast, or soon we'll have guests?
We had one, and I'd like to have him back, but scheduling and job wise, it was another one of our friends. It was like the third episode we did. It was like a Marvel Green Lanterns crossover we had, and he knew a lot about the Green Lantern, so we had him on. I'd like to have him on some more stuff now that I think about it, but it's mostly just been us two. I'm fine with having more people on, but I guess we're just so focused on our stupid pitches or whatever that
No. You do your own show. Whatever you guys do, you don't need to have guests. Just, if you're gonna shoot ideas, that's the whole show. And
I guess that's ultimately what it goes down to.
Yes. Now, can you give us a little bit more information about how to, I guess, see your I can't remember the word,
Kickstarter campaign.
Kickstarter. Yes.
Oh yeah. So with the Kickstarter campaign, and this is for both issues 1 and 2. So if you've read issue 1 already, there's going to be reward tiers for you where you can just continue the story with issue 2. But if you haven't read either of them, if you haven't read any of the Gallows Man, there's going to be reward tiers for you. You can read both issues 1 and 2. It starts low. Reward tiers range from $1 to $70. Whatever fits in your budget, because I understand prices are insane of stuff like living wise. Like I went to the grocery store the other day. I got like 2 grocery bags worth of stuff, and I paid nearly $100. I was like, what the heck is this? So I understand money's tight. Any little bit helps though. Like I mentioned before, reward tiers range from $1 to $70. You can get both digital copies of issue 1 and 2 for just $8, and that's a lot of bang for your buck, because these are more than double-sized issues. Like
great
it's
paper
40.
too. Great
Thank
quality.
you, thank you. Yes, the printer we use, his company is doing amazing work. Definitely going to use them for issue 2 and hopefully in the future. But each one of these issues, 49 pages of story. That's not including the like extra stuff like letters pages and stuff like that. 49 pages.
Is that your mom's review right here? Even though it's kind of blurry.
It was ultimately like something I came up with, and then I was like, hey, like, Mom, is it all right if I put this on the back of my book? She was like, yeah, I guess. I don't think that of your book, but I guess. I was like, thank you. I thought it was a little funny thing. But yeah, she's very supportive.
Very nice.
But yeah, so 98 pages of just story within these 2 issues, $8 digital. Physical copies start at $10 and go up, and there's some catch-up reward tiers. Again, if you want physical copies of issue 1 and 2, there's also reward tiers if you just want the regular cover and the variant cover of issue 2. There's retailer bundles. There's a couple retailer bundles, depending on what you're wanting to get. It goes all the way to the $70 reward tier, which is a metal cover variant of issue 1. Nice. This is basically the rarest copy of issue 1 of the Gallows Man you'll ever see. A guy named DP Brown, I was heavily inspired by him doing this on his Kickstarter. It's not a hollow foil cover. It's not a foil cover. It's like metal basically. And I saw him do an unboxing. I was like, that looks really dope. Like that's something I want to do for a reward tier. And so it's that. And for comic collectors out there, I'm not going to make more than 25 of these variants. 25 is the max. I might make less than that. I'm saying 25 is the max of these variants I'll order. So it'll be the rarest version, rarest variant of issue 1, but comes with that, signed by me. Issue 2 signed by me. Issue 2 won't be a metal variant, but issue 2 signed by me. Comes with both. It comes with the sticker set for issue 2. Comes with the scripts for issue 1 and 2. Comes with PDF copies of both, and a few other things. There's a ton of different stuff. And again, if you aren't able to get the $70 metal cover variant, there's plenty of reward tiers. Every little bit helps, and I'm thankful. And I just realized I didn't even say the date of the Kickstarter when it launches.
Nor how to get to the Kickstarter.
It launches May 3rd at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. May 3rd, that's this coming Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Go to Kickstarter or go to my Facebook or Instagram. You can find the link to the Kickstarter there, and you can back it. If you go to Kickstarter itself, it should be titled like the Gallows Man number 1 and 2, and you should find it there. But yeah, I'm thankful for every little bit that you guys are willing to support this book.
Looks like Mark is asking, what reward tier gets us the badass Taco Bell shirt like you have on?
Yes. So the Taco Bell shirt, that reward tier requires you getting in your vehicle, driving to Walmart, and paying $7 to $8, and then driving back, and you'll get that reward tier. The thing is, that's not on the Kickstarter page. That's a secret reward tier. So you heard it here. If you want the Taco Bell reward tier, you got to do everything I just said.
Yeah, you can also find that at Target.
Yeah, exactly.
You also have the link to the Kickstarter on your IG page, correct? On the Dismay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll link that up after we're done here. And I did find something here that about the book that me being drilled with so much. I guess my English teacher was a big asshole for grammar and spelling. I don't know if you've seen it. Unless you meant this guy to be, ironic and because he has a lisp, but
major swastika, yeah. So with his, is that who you're talking about? Like he's talking,
correct?
Yeah. So any spelling errors is on purpose with him.
Yes.
Major swastika, any spelling errors, because this might be a little hard to think about, listener and viewer, but it's basically a English Nazi accent, like he's Nazi Germany, that's what I meant. Mm-hmm. He has that German accent and he's speaking English, but he has like a Elmer Fudd lisp,
yes,
like an Elmer Fudd speech impediment, so that's why it sounds like that.
Have you, I guess, offended a lot of Nazis with this current title?
None of them have like DM'd me or anything like that. Maybe they're plotting. Maybe they're doing a major swastika and forming some underground cult or whatever.
Okay, because I was at the barbershop earlier and I was going through the comic book just to go refresh my mind, and I had this Indian guy right next to me, and like he was just looking at me because he was seeing the swastikas. It's like, I mean, they were just there and like, I know Indians have swastikas too, but you're reading a Nazi book. Like, well, it's a comic book, dude.
And the Nazis are bad. The Nazis are not good. That's
they're not the heroes of this book.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they haven't, I guess, got offended yet. Nor maybe we should put it out there and then have them read the book. Maybe they'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Which I can understand. Like people, they see that and they're put off. But do keep in mind, they're the bad guys. Spoiler alert for the whole series: the Nazis get their comeuppance. I know that's crazy, but they get their comeuppance.
Right, and this is before the World War or World II, or right
this
after?
Is so. I
were set in the 1930s.
If I said in issue 1, let me see, because maybe I have it in the script. It's like 40s. It's basically around the time of World War II.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it's during World War II, but it could be slightly after. I got to look back at my script.
So we're assuming that these are Nazi spies on U.S. shores. That
somewhat. It's more of like a Red Skull situation where like Red Skull kind of formed his own thing in a way. Like it's kind of like that where Major Swastika formed this Nazi cult. Like yes, it like branched from Nazi Germany, but ultimately he's forming like a cult basically.
Okay. Well, what are we expecting out of issue 3?
So with issue 3, not to spoil anything, you read issue 2. It leaves on a cliffhanger.
Just like issue 1.
Yeah. That's how I like to have it. Leave you wanting more, but you got a lot. It's 49 pages of story, so you got a lot leading to it. But issue 3, we're 25% done with it in terms of art. The story is completely done, but in terms of art, we're about 25% done with it. Issue 3 might be the most action-packed issue because I'll say there's stuff that goes on that happened at the very end of issue 2. Something happens to Gallows Man. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in helping him out of that situation and stuff. And there's a big car chase scene within issue 3. And it's over the top and crazy. And I can't wait to see it drawn. And issue 3 might be the most action that you see in the book.
Will we get a little bit more of Sparkle?
Not to spoil too much, you might hear him referred to in issues 3 and 4, but I'll say at least this. You'll get more on Sparkle in a post-credit scene after issue 4.
Nice. All right. I'm excited. All right. So let's bring up your socials again, how people can reach you and how can reach your Kickstarter. And we'll definitely put more money into the Kickstarter to get issues 2 through 4 out the door.
Yeah. Thank you. So my social is Dismay Comics. That's DISMAY Comics. You can find that on Facebook and Instagram. You can like and follow both. I'm more active on Instagram. But yeah, you can find links to the Kickstarter and stuff. I'm posting about it fairly often. The Kickstarter goes live May 3rd at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're like me, who's not good at converting, that's the time zones and stuff, Google. if you're like Eastern Standard Time, Google what is 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to Eastern Standard Time, and you'll
12.
get it. Exactly, it's 12.
Noon.
Someone like me who isn't that great at that has to rely on Google sometimes.
If not, you can ask Alexa.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to be careful with Alexa, though. After that South Park episode, I got to be careful.
Is there a cutoff date that we're looking at for?
Yeah. So the Kickstarter, it'll run from May 3rd, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it'll go to June 2nd or June 3rd. It's kind of weird. They don't let you choose a specific cutoff date. They tell you the number of days it can run. You can't click on the calendar, but it's going to run for 30 days. So June 2nd or June 3rd will be the cutoff date. Once I actually click launch, then I'll finally get a date. So it'll be June 2nd or June 3rd is when it'll run to.
After that, they'll then put the books into production and should be delivered about at least a couple weeks after that.
Yeah. So after the Kickstarter ends on June 2nd or 3rd, Kickstarter has to process all the money and all that stuff. It takes them 2 weeks to do that. I don't know why it takes so long, but it takes them 2 weeks to do all that stuff. So middle of June is when I'll start ordering all the promo stuff, like bookmarks, stickers, the comics, all that stuff. I'll order all that stuff. And you should see it delivered sometime between early August and early September. That's when it'll be delivered.
Great. And the Taco Bell is not included in that Kickstarter.
It's not included. It's not included.
Unless
Secret reward.
Yes, unless you were sponsored by Taco Bell, then maybe.
I wish.
Yes.
As much as I eat Taco Bell, it'd be great if I got a sponsorship.
So everybody, go take a look at Brandon's Kickstarter on his IG and Facebook, and hopefully we get to see issue 2 in a couple months and get to enjoy it. I've read it and I'm left speechless of what happened at the end, and hope get to see more of what our hero Gallows Man is gonna do to get out of that situation.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys it. Even if you don't enjoy it, I'm glad you gave it a chance.
Yeah, definitely a great writing here. Great book, great art. Anything else would you like to add before we go here?
I think that's it. Remember, everyone, May 3rd, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the reason I preface that is a lot of Kickstarter's productivity, like in raising funds, usually relies on that first 24 to 48 hours. So if you're able to be there and back the book within the first 24 to 48 hours, it would really help with the Kickstarter.
Sweet. All right, Brandon, thank you for coming to the show, and we'll see you again for issue 3.
Oh yeah.
Let's put that on the calendar.
For sure.
And guys, we'll see you tomorrow on the next show with the main guys, and then we'll talk about I guess we can talk about the spoilers that are coming out for Doctor Strange, because god damn it, don't go open Twitter and see all that spoilers. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
Take care.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Sealess Villains podcast, your cultivators of the comic culture. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and email us at sealessvillains@gmail.com. You can also leave us a voicemail or text us at 209-975-7597. Be sure to join Luke Week's Facebook group, Rare Keys and First Appearance Comics. And you can follow us on our 2 Instagram accounts, Sealess Villains and Sealess Villains Podcast. Lastly, follow the villains on their separate IG accounts, at Luke Weeks, at C-List Villainous Red, at C-List E-Man, and I am at AJ the Comic Collector. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next episode.